Hello adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited because we're going to be going on a little bit of a field trip to Wichita Falls, Texas. Now this is a little bit of a niche kind of trip because today we're going to be going and doing something a little different. We're going to see a historic something that is really cool and something I guarantee you have never seen anywhere else because it is the world's only one of these. So today we're gonna go on a little bit of a fun fact-finding mission, and I can't wait to share this with you because the story behind this is wild. Okay guys, I'm in Wichita Falls now, and this is going to be a fun one. Now there's a few things that I want to show you in this video which you can check out all within a very short proximity of one another. If you come here on a Saturday, you can check out the farmers market, which is literally right over here in your direction. And they have great and wonderful, amazing produce, which is so good. Now I'm here on a Sunday, so it's not open, but at the same time, this is really cool. Check this out. So there's Dimples right there, and along this way you can see all of these really cool trains. Now something that makes me kind of a little bit sad is that this used to be open to the public so that you could come and check this out and actually go through them, but it was on a volunteer basis, and during COVID things kind of happened and it ended up shutting down. But they still have these here where you can actually see what the trains look like. And there's a couple little spots that have historic markers that we're going to check out also. And so I thought this was a good way to start off our Wichita Falls field trip adventure. You never know what you're going to find whenever you get out and kind of explore a little bit. And so that's why I wanted to get out and check out a few interesting things here in the Wichita Falls area. Now there's also a museum which I'm actually going to show you on a different video. In fact, probably the next video, where my dad and I went and checked it out. And it's such a good local museum. I love brain wrinkles. But today I thought, let's get out and explore the town a little bit. And within this 1 block radius, there's a lot of interesting things, like the trains. Like this building right here. This building is a little worse for wear now. But at one point in time, this building was actually the J.A. Kemp Wholesale grocery building. It was built in 1892, and it was a structure that housed the Kemp wholesale grocery business. Now, if you ever come to Wichita Falls, there's a road, a major road through town called Kemp. And I'm pretty sure it's named after these individuals. But let's read a little bit more and find out a little bit more about what this historic structure actually had to offer the town. In fact, it says here that it was in business for 35 years. And it was a building that originally measured 50 by 100 feet and contained a full basement. That's kind of rare here because in Texas, unlike a lot of places, we don't always have basement structures. Basements are something that a lot of people in the north that do have them take for granted because we don't have them at all a lot of times here. And if we do have them, they're not for the same purpose that a lot of people up north have them. And so it's kind of interesting to see a building that has a fully constructed basement, and it's such a big deal that they put it on this sign. But there's more. As you can see, this building is right next to where the trains are. So the railroad tracks are right over here, which would have been a huge asset to any kind of business in this area. It says here that it went on to be an industrial supply company, and they occupied it during the boom of the 30s. Again, right next to the railroad, so it totally makes sense. And in addition, they continued to improve upon this structure, and they made it larger and larger. In fact, by the time that they had finished the construction projects on this, it was about 18,000 square feet, which is huge in comparison to how it started out. Now, why am I showing you this historic building? Well, it's because the main reason I wanted to come to Wichita Falls today was to explore and show you some cool stuff, but also to show you one of the coolest buildings in the entire state of Texas. I know that's a big, bold claim, but in the state of Texas, we have big, bold things. And then apparently we also have the smallest thing. In fact, here in Wichita Falls, they are the home of the world's smallest skyscraper. That's right, the smallest skyscraper in the world. And we'll get to the story behind that in just a little bit, but first let's go check out a little bit more of the really cool stuff across the street. Again, this is the home of the Wichita Falls Railroad Museum, and to my knowledge, they have not reopened. This is a Heritage Society site that was dedicated in 1992, and of course we have a plaque here to tell us a little bit about it. So even if They are no longer open to the public. We can still learn thanks to signs like this. And so that's really, really cool. I like this, that it says that it is a move it or lose it campaign. And so they wanted to make sure that they preserved this piece of history for us to see. And again, it's just so, so cool. You know, whenever we're traveling, I always say always stop for the brown signs. Well, if you ever see a state seal, that's also a really cool one, because look, this is the Texas Historical Commission stating that this Wichita Falls Root building was actually listed on the Register of Historic Places. Now that's a big, big deal, and this is considered one of Wichita Falls' landmark buildings. Now, of course, as you know, whenever you're out and about exploring, you see all sorts of interesting things. And you know, a lot of times we see a plaque on a building and just kind of keep walking by thinking, oh, it's just a business plaque, whatever. But no, not in fact. Sometimes it's actually something really cool. So if you are out walking around in your travel vehicle or just looking for something unique, to look into places like this, because it's going to give you a little bit of history, but also kind of tell you a little bit more about the people and the places. So with that said, let's go look at some trains. You truly never know what you're going to find whenever you go out into a community. And being able to see this is just really neat. I'm glad that even if the museum itself is not open, that they do have this available to us, because this is still a little tidbit of history. Remember, a lot of these communities were built based on the fact that they could have goods and services because of the rail system. So being able to see some of the old school railways, very, very cool. But now let's go seek out that tiny little skyscraper. Okay, so just to kind of give you an idea, we just came down this alley. Right on the other side of this alley over here is where we just were at the train museum. And on that opposite side, on this side right over here, that's where the farmer's market is. But if you come down the alley, you can get the best view of this unique attraction. Now, a couple of things that I wanted to share with you all. Did you know that Texas has 550 Guinness World Records? That's right, 550. I thought that was kind of cool because I'm from Bowie, where we have the Guinness World's largest Bowie knife. And I've shared that here on my channel before. But Wichita Falls, which is only a short drive away, has one of the Ripley's attractions. That's right, Guinness and Ripley's actually at one point in time had a little bit of a competition as to how much that they could cover and who could outdo one another with the weird, wild, and interesting. And because of that, I thought that it was fascinating that this was so close to home. So there it is, the world's littlest skyscraper, and you can see that it's pointed toward something. But what is it pointed toward? Well, this building right here is the world's smallest skyscraper, and it's actually called the Newby McMahon building. Now, this is kind of interesting because it's unlike any skyscraper you've ever seen. When you think of skyscraper in your mind, what do you think? You probably think, oh, giant, jumbo, huge, larger than life, tons of office buildings, lots of apartments, lots of stuff going on, tons of moving parts. Well, this one is a little bit different. Now, mind you, in this community, there are some tall, giant, larger than life buildings, but this one, well, they had a little bit of a math error. You see, unlike other skyscrapers, this one is the world's smallest. So it's only actually about 4 stories tall. And it's not very wide either. But why is that?
This neoclassic style red brick and cast stone structure stands only approximately 40 feet tall, and its exterior dimensions are 18 feet by 10 feet. That's right, it's only 18 feet deep and 10 feet wide. Reportedly, the creation of this building was the result of a fraudulent investment scheme by a confidence man in the Newby McMahon building, and it was a great source of embarrassment to the city and its residents upon its completion in 1919. During the 1920s, it went on to become the world's littlest skyscraper, a name that stuck with it ever since, and it was considered an eyesore and embarrassment. But it wasn't always said to be such. In fact, the story behind it's quite interesting. After an oil boom in the area began to spring up and grow rapidly, and this was going to be a large investment project. After collecting approximately $200,000, which would be the equivalent to over $3 million today in investment capital from a group of naive investors, there was a promise of a high-rise office building just across the road from the St. James Hotel. In the initial construction, however, instead of listing the building at 480 feet, it was listed as only 480 inches. Investors didn't seem to notice this in the original proposals, and before long, they had raised the money thinking that there would be this large grand building. Only to their dismay, they learned that it would be a 40-foot tall building. Needless to say, a lawsuit ensued, and investors brought this lawsuit against McMahon over the size of the building and over the deception that he had created in the initial proposal. However, the contract was deemed to be a legal, binding contract, and they did recover a small portion of their investment from an elevator company which refused to honor the contract of installing an elevator in the 4-floor building. However, no stairway was installed in the building upon its initial completion, and rather, employees would be forced to gain access to the upper floors using exterior ladders.
So as you can see, it's a little different of an adventure because you get to see something a little bit weird. And I like weird, I like quirky, I like strange, and I definitely like things that have been in Ripley's. In fact, I've been to so many of the Ripley's attractions, and I actually saw this in one of them, and I had no idea it was in my backyard. It just pays to put all the pieces together sometime, so I had to come out and share it with you. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. Now, if you are interested in coming out here to see the world's smallest skyscraper, it's really easy to find. Whenever you find the railroad tracks, it's literally right up next to it, and the actual address is 511 7th Street here in Wichita Falls. Now, I have loved this adventure today. It's been a little funky, a little fun, a little historic. We've gotten some brain wrinkles, and well, it just goes to show that you don't have to make the biggest adventure out of your day. Sometimes just finding something that kind of makes you giggle a little bit can change your perception on things. I've truly enjoyed sharing this absolutely free adventure where we've learned a little bit about the community of Wichita Falls. Make sure you check out the museum that accompanies this because I learned a lot whenever I went there, and it's just a really fun place to go to because it's local, and you know I love a good brain wrinkle or two. But for now, as I get ready to get into Dimples and hit the road, I implore you to find a weird thing near you. Tell me what it is, leave it in the comments below. Let me know if you've checked it out, what you thought about it, would you recommend it for me or someone else? And if you have the address, drop it in there so other people can get out there and explore. The main thing that I do here on my channel is encourage everyone to get out and find unique things that can improve their quality of life as a whole by just thinking about something outside of your norm. And guess what, guys? The littlest skyscraper definitely is that. Remember, guys, we aren't here for a long time, but we are here for a good time, and a good time can be anything. It can be in your backyard, it can be a long distance trip, it can be something that you have never thought that you would ever do and you're challenging yourself, or it can just be seeing something a little strange. Till next time, guys, bye!